Hi everyone, Nick here from Conservation Careers and welcome to the podcast. Now, have you ever felt stuck, burnt out or unsure of your next career move? In this episode, we're joined by Kristi Foster, who's Head of Programs at Conservation Careers and an experienced careers coach. Kristi has been a guiding force for hundreds of conservationists, helping them to overcome internal barriers like imposter syndrome, burnout and decision paralysis. Together, we explore what coaching actually is and what it isn't, and clarify how it differs from mentoring, consulting and therapy, and what makes it such a powerful tool for growth. We discuss the unique challenges conservationists face today, from burnout to imposter syndrome to uncertainty, and how coaching can bring you clarity and confidence and direction. Kristi also walks us through what happens in a typical coaching session, including some of the tools and exercises she used to help unlock breakthroughs. And finally, we explore how to know if coaching's right for you and what it takes to get the most out of the process. So whether you're a student, a switcher, or a seasoned professional, or someone in between, this conversation will help you to understand the power of coaching to support your growth and success within the sector. It's an open, honest, and practical conversation. And if you'd like to explore whether coaching could be right for you, there's also a link in the description to find out more. Enjoy.
My name is Kristi Foster. I work as head of programs at Conservation Careers, and I'm a conservation career coach.
Hey, Kristi's on the podcast.
Woo-hoo.
Again.
I know. It feels so strange to be here on this side of the podcast rather than listening to it.
It's great to have you on. Obviously, we work together so closely, and it's good to have a conversation like this publicly about something we care so much about, actually, which is coaching. It's what we're here to talk about today. But for people who don't know you perhaps as well as I do, let's just paint a slightly deeper picture as to who you are and what you do at Conservation Careers beyond being our in-house coach. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what you do at CC, Kristi. Yeah.
Sure. So I guess I'm a coach who works obviously with conservationists and also sustainability professionals. So sustainability, conservation, people doing good in the world for people on the planet.
Yeah.
And a lot of my work is really about helping people find their own answers, their own wisdom, their own solutions. You know, we are trained from a very young age to look to other people for the right answer for things. And so a lot of my work is about empowering people to find their own answers and kind of expand what's possible for them, expand their potential in the conservation sector and the work that they do. It was kind of a long answer to your question because I'm very passionate about this topic. But so I work both one-on-one with people who are either looking to get into conservation or they're switching into the sector or they're in a career transition of some sort, or maybe they've trained in conservation and they've been out for some number of years and they're coming back in. But usually there's some kind of a transition happening.
Yeah.
And I work with people one-on-one, and I work with conservationists sometimes in group coaching as well to kind of support them to navigate whatever it is they're looking to do in their career.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. And beyond all that as well, beyond the coach, I mean, you've been with CC sort of since the beginning as well. Like we're sort of 12, 13 years old this year. And you started with us as a volunteer back in the day. It must be best part of 10 years ago now.
Maybe even more than that. I think it was 2014.
Right. And this is 11 years. So really right at the beginning. Yeah. You started as a volunteer blogger for us, interviewing people, writing really great interviews and talking to conservationists about their work and sharing their wisdom through your writing. And I remember back 11 years ago, like, when you were writing for us and we connected, I thought, if Conservation Careers ever gets big enough, I really want to hire Kristi because she's so good. And 11 years on, you're managing our content. So all the content that kind of flows through our website, comes through you at one way, shape or form. Also our community as well. You're really active in our community and helping to manage our programs as our program manager. So beyond coaching, you do so much for us, and you've worked for us for now 6 years, 7 years. I mean, I'm terrible at dates and timelines here. So it's something like that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, 6 years. And I kind of came to CC, I guess, in an inflection point in my own career. Because I think those are interesting to look at, when we have those inflection points in life and career. We get to shift direction. And sometimes that feels a bit scary when you make a career shift or transition. But yeah, that I was kind of at a junction in my own career, and we created an opportunity for this.
Yeah.
I think was opportunity.
The stream came together. Brilliant.
Dreams came together.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about coaching. It's such a valuable process for anyone really who wants to kind of make a change in themselves, whether it's working towards a goal or tackling a challenge or whatever it might be. And it's something that we've been doing more and more of in conservation careers in recent years. And that reflects actually sort of formalized training that both you and I have done over recent years as well. So you head our coaching program. I was trained as a coach a couple of years ago. I've sort of put my toe in the water to do it formally, but I'm still learning as I go. But you've been coaching now hundreds of conservationists over recent years. And we're here to talk about that process. Like, what is coaching? What does it look like? Who benefits from coaching? Yeah, what does a typical session look like? And really kind of get into the details as to how it works for people and how people can benefit from it as well. So where to start? The obvious place to start, I think, really is like, the obvious question is like, what is coaching? Because I think people use it in lots of different ways, and it can mean different things to different people as well. So just give us a little bit of a kind of 101 picture as to how you would describe coaching to someone, Kristi.
Okay. Yeah. I love this question because I think, like you said, it's a term that gets used in a lot of ways, from like basketball through to technical advice. So I guess the definition of coaching that's relevant here, the kind of coaching we're talking about, the definition from the International Coaching Federation is partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. So that's kind of the global standard definition for coaching. I like to think of it as a space for people to discover their own ideas, wisdom, solutions, and a place for them to realize their own potential. I think most people can be a lot more than they think they can, and coaching is a space to explore that.
I love that. And a few things came out from that. So one is like partnering with someone, working together with someone is really important in coaching. Maximizing finding potential. Yeah, feels really important too. Someone discussed, I've heard a couple of other definitions also, or ways of thinking about coaching that's helped me as well. Like, one is creating space for someone to have an aha moment. And it's not necessarily a big aha moment like penny drops, world changes, but just suddenly, whether it's clarity, or we often feel like our minds can be spaghetti. It's about sort of straightening things out and just getting a little bit clearer. I think that can be really, really helpful.
I know so.
A useful metaphor I heard too is it's a bit like being on like a tandem bicycle with someone. Yeah. So you as the coach are sat at the back and helping sort of drive and give a bit of momentum and help, but the person being coached at the front, and they're in control about where they go and how they go there, and they have full choice. Yeah. And you're in support there for them. You're in service of them on that bike. And it's this sort of partnership idea, but the control is very much with the other person. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of a cool partnership and relationship because it's co-created. Like, every moment of it is co-created. And like you said, as a coach, you're there in service of this other person, what they're trying to achieve, who they want to be, how they want things to go in their career and their life. But you kind of get to navigate that together. And obviously you can use some fancy tools and exercises in coaching, but a lot of that is also just like hearts and minds that find the answers, solutions along the way. Yeah.
It's funny. It makes me reflect. I've received coaching a number of times over the years and always find it valuable. And there are points when I felt really stuck and I just need to like externalize this stuff and talk it through with someone and process it and get clarity. And I know that I've got the answer, but it's like I need someone to help me find that answer. A good example of that would be when I was deciding whether I wanted to leave my previous employment and go full-time in conservation careers. I was working with a coach at that point. And I had sort of 4 or 5 lunchtime sessions with them, like an hour each, and slowly but surely kind of work through, well, what do I need to have in place, and what are the steps I need to take, and how am I going to make this move, and all that sort of stuff. And I think without that coaching, it would have gone a lot slower, and I'd have a lot less confidence through the process.
Yeah.
What came out for me was these are really important to me as my values, and I still have, they're right in front of me right now today.
Yeah.
And they knew what that was, and it acted like a compass for me making this decision, and with much more confidence than previously. So yeah, I think anyone who's received coaching when they've been sort of struggling or wrestling with something can find it really beneficial just to kind of, to get a bit clearer and to kind of move forward with that confidence that I felt I had. And I've had more recently as well with other coaching experiences. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's so hard. I think it's so hard to describe coaching just in words because it's experiential. It's something you experience in the moment. But when you said feeling stuck and like there's just so much going on in your head, I've certainly experienced that, and I've had people describe it in all sorts of ways, like the mind cloud or the fog or like we all know what that is when it's
Yeah.
just all up in here and we can't break through it. And just being with another person who has, tools and a process to kind of break through that or help you find how to break through that is super powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or did you
Before we
want
go on to like thinking about challenges and how coaching can help, specifically in conservation, although it can help many people in different contexts, like what is coaching not, or what are some of the things that sometimes coaching is confused with as well? I'm thinking things like consulting or
Yeah,
mentoring, or because they're all sort of often muddled together. Like how would you
totally.
differentiate the various, even therapy, I think probably, and counseling kind of sits within this kind of bigger context of ways in which people can
Yeah.
seek support.
Yeah. I love that. And whenever I work with someone, we always sort of go through those distinctions
Yeah.
too. So I guess coaching, maybe first and foremost, it's a partnership, and it's a space where the coach does not have the answers. Consulting or advising, I think most of us get what that is. You've got a problem, something that you need to fix or solve, and you're seeking out expert advice from someone else who's got the solution. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like the consultant and the client in that case are on different levels. Like someone's the expert
Yeah. Interesting.
and
Yeah.
they can help you fix the problem that you've got.
Yeah.
Whereas in coaching, it's quite flat. These are two people who are coming at whatever it is, a challenge, an opportunity, with tools and a process, but no one's sort of an expert
Yeah.
in coaching, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It
Uh,
does. Yeah. I think of also like coaching is often about asking insightful questions as the coach, whereas mentoring or consulting is more about answering questions, or being on the,
yeah,
that's another way of thinking it through for me. Yeah.
yeah. And I think in mentoring is almost a bit of a gray area because depending who the mentor is, who's doing the mentoring, they might have skills in coaching. So you could easily get a mix
Mhm.
there. But I think it really depends on the person involved. And you asked about like counseling and therapy too, which
Yeah.
it's interesting because I think most people come into coaching, especially career coaching, and are like, this has nothing to do with therapy or counseling. And actually, I mean, the way our lives run, the way we make decisions, the kind of patterns that we all have, the default ways we do things, all of those things we formed when we were young. And so there's a history to them, and there's usually an emotional charge to them. So it's not that far away from things like therapy and counseling. It's just that coaching as a tool is more designed to look at where we are now, where you are now, where you want to go. And so, how do we make a shift now that's going to get you to where you want to be,
Yeah.
rather than necessarily going back, into the past and trying to heal something or solve something or understand something. We're really looking at, okay, given all this stuff that's making you who you are,
Yeah.
what do we want to do with it
Yeah.
so that it can go differently in the future for you?
Yeah. I love that. It feels exciting to think like, what do you want to do with it? Yeah. Just
Yeah.
the idea of that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I remember that some of the first moments, like we both have experienced coaching. I got coached a lot in the process of training to become a coach. And I remember the first time I kind of sat back and looked at my like default patterns and saw them clearly in front of me. And I just went, oh my gosh, this thing is running my life. And I had no idea. It's
Gosh.
wild.
Can we dig a little bit more into that? What was this thing
Sure.
you learn, or how would you characterize what you learned? Yeah.
Oh, there's been so many. I'm going to try and find an example that's maybe going to be easier to describe in words. Let's go with this. Oh, I'm torn between two. I'll go with this one because it's probably going to be very relatable for a lot of people, I suspect.
Mhm.
So we gave like playful names to these things when I trained as a coach. And the name that this default pattern of mine has is selfish martyr.
Right. Yeah.
So this is just one example. What selfish martyr means is that although I am very passionate about the work that I do in the world, and I'm largely driven by purpose, which is an amazing thing. I think a lot of us share that in conservation.
Yep.
At the same time, sometimes I'm driven to do work just because I have something to prove. There's like a bit of a, I'm almost doing it for other people.
Yeah.
You know, look at me, I should be doing this thing. This gives me more value as a person. So when that shows up, I call it selfish martyr. So over time, I've worked to understand, when I'm genuinely doing something because I'm choosing to, and when I've gone in that other direction of, it's almost a bit of like people pleasing or perfectionism, or, it's an ego thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope that example was kind of relatable.
Yeah. And once you've identified that and characterized it and clarified it, then you can use it, you can avoid it, you can shape it, you can
Yeah. And some like it's never going away. It's not gonna, like, I can't snap my fingers and have it disappear, but I recognize it when it shows up, and then I like anyone can choose, what do I want to do with that? I'm realizing that half of I just disappeared into the lake there for a second.
Yeah.
My virtual background. Yeah.
It reminds me of an exercise I did during training where we thought about how we go about making decisions, like tricky decisions. And we thought about the decision process a bit like having the boardroom of a company or something like that. Like you sort of say, well, when you make a decision, like, and you imagine the boardroom being your brain and the decision that is being made, like who's at the table, like who is helping you to make that decision? Like, how would you characterize them? So you've got the selfish martyr sat there, and there's no doubt other people that you can
for sure.
characterize.
Yeah.
It's like, well, who's speaking too loudly? Who's missing? Who would you like to remove from that table?
Yeah.
Lots of ways of looking at it and thinking about it that just helps to kind of bring greater awareness as to the processes you're going through internally. Yeah. And how you might, if you wish to, make changes to them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a level of awareness that, most of us aren't accessing most of the time. And it's kind of like there's so many things I think that come up in coaching where once you've seen them, there's no going back. You can't unsee the thing.
Can't put the lid back on.
And there's been moments where I thought, oh gosh, I just wish I had not seen that. But it's so valuable.
Yeah.
It's so valuable because then suddenly you've got, I almost think of coaching as like a toolkit for life. You're building up these levels of awareness, and you're building these tools that when you're then faced with a new situation or a challenge or an obstacle or whatever, you've got so much more to draw on than you would have otherwise. So it's almost like its impact is not just now in the moment, but it's over a much longer period of time, and it kind of builds over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after you've finished coaching, say,
yeah,
you still have those tools to use yourself in your life and in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. When we think about like coaching in conservation specifically, then what sort of challenges do you see kind of aspiring or professional conservationists facing that actually coaching can really help with? Like, what do people come
Yeah.
to you with? What typical things are you supporting people with?
Yeah. Well, I think just for context, first of all, we have to recognize that conservation is a tricky sector. Like it's a bit chaotic. It's changing, it's evolving. There's often more work than there's resources for,
Yeah.
financial or otherwise. And there aren't clear paths for people to go anywhere. So like it's almost got all of the ingredients to really challenge people
Yeah.
and overwhelm them
Yeah. And
just
I
in
would add
general.
on to that, sorry to interrupt, but because
Yeah.
it's like purpose led and passion led, people are in it because they
And
really care about the thing that they're
yeah.
trying to tackle, then the potential for just never stopping working is
Yeah.
huge, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
you'll never complete the full purpose of what you're trying.
Totally. Yeah. So I mean, no wonder we see things like burnout. No wonder we see things like overwhelm. No wonder people feel lost and stuck because we're in an environment where that's likely to happen. So I think just overall, coaching provides tools to navigate that stuff that we know we're going to face. But I guess like more specifically, can I read out? There's like the International Coaching Federation has a list of sort of signs you might benefit from coaching.
Oh, yeah.
Might be interesting for this
Yeah.
quest. And then we can dig more into the conservation sector if we want.
Yeah. Yeah. Please do.
Let me just find them here. Yeah. So signs you could benefit from coaching: feeling stuck. So I guess in conservation, that often happens at the beginning, like that bottleneck of getting into your first role.
Yeah.
I think it happens for people too when they're switching careers or
Yep.
transitioning, kind of feeling stuck and lost and not sure how to go about doing it, like they're spinning their wheels. There's pursuing a dream. So here we are, a group of very purpose and passion driven people who have pretty big aspirations for what we want to do in the world.
Yeah.
But often those aspirations are so big and important to us that it's frightening to go after them. Or no one around us gets it. Your family might not get it, your friends might not get it, your current colleagues might not get it, or might actively dissuade you from doing it.
Yeah.
I've spoken with a lot of people who are up against that, where other people can't sort of support them in their dream. There's navigating a life transition or a career transition, obviously. So I think a lot of the people that come to us and come to me fall into that category. They're switching careers from something that wasn't conservation into conservation, or they've been out of conservation. Like maybe they trained in it, worked in it a bit, left for whatever reason to have a family, to pursue a different career, and they're coming back,
Yeah.
but feel like they're on the outside looking in
Yeah.
and aren't sure how to get back in.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one. Another one on the list of sort of signs you could benefit from coaching is wanting more confidence.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that comes up in conservation because it's a sector where, even if we've come out of a university degree designed for conservation, nothing in that degree has prepared us for actually what happens on the job. We're going to be thrown into a situation we've never seen before and asked to do something that we've never done before. So of course our confidence is going to struggle. So people who are further into their careers have had their confidence knocked for whatever reason. They've had a difficult relationship with a PhD supervisor, or they've had a job that was really not a good fit or whatever it is. So sort of like being able to rebuild confidence and rebuild self-assurance after that. I think there's one more. Oh yeah, this one's very relevant, I think, for conservation, searching for balance, like between professional and personal life, like you said.
Yeah.
We're people who want to help. We have a mission in the world, and we're working in a sector where there's always more work to do than it feels like we can do. And we're kind of like racing against the clock almost, to save the planet. So I think that balance, like is super, super important. And I wish everyone had the tools to kind of work with that from the start.
Absolutely. Balance being particularly pertinent, I think, for professional conservationists, people who are in their careers, early, mid
Yeah.
careers even. But that whole list is highly relevant to our sector. Yeah.
Yeah.
Following
Yeah.
your passion, navigating a challenge or a change, switching careers, starting careers, moving within your career, particularly, having confidence in doing it, and so forth. It's we're particularly challenged.
I just remembered another one, which is, well, there's probably many, but negativity bias, like the fact that when anyone enters the conservation sector, when they're starting or switching, what we hear is more of the negative stuff. So we hear it's impossible to get in. You have to volunteer for free for 4 years before you can get paid employment. You need 3 degrees, and they all have to be relevant to biology. Like we hear a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that could easily turn us off working in the sector at all before we've even started. So I think, yeah, it's just another example of why this sector is tricky.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It reminds me of one of our community members who posted recently into the community about how they secured a job and they were facing a tough time with applications and getting through to interviews and just refining and getting ready to be putting in really good applications. And she changed her mindset from, I'm never going to get this job. It's too competitive. It's too hard, to, why not me? Like, why is it not going to
Yeah.
be? And it's a confidence
Yeah.
shift, wasn't it? And it really stood out for me in the story that she told. Like, absolutely,
Totally.
why not you? And she's got the job. She's thriving. She's loving it. I won't share her name, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really
I
felt
remember
like it was
exactly that post.
a confidence shift in that just kept her going and drove it home, because it won't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So you do need that confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. But if we don't sort of look in ourselves for those things that are holding us back, like whatever the belief that it is
Yeah.
that we put about the sector or what's not possible for us, if we don't look at those things, we can remain stuck for a really long time.
And feeling like
That was such
imposters.
a
And
no, go ahead there.
I was going to say, the imposter syndrome, we've not touched on that, but that feels like
Yeah.
very much like feeling like this outsider, looking
Yeah.
in. I think even when you're in, we're both in, arguably, and still I can feel like an outsider sometimes. Yeah, it's just very
Well,
normal, very natural. Again, confidence, I think, is the context there. And that has to come from within, and that has to be sort of nurtured and discovered, and to help you to thrive. It's so important. Yeah.
yeah.
What's your approach to coaching? So we've talked a little bit about what coaching is and what it isn't. We talked about like how it can help different types of people and how it's very relatable to the kind of conservation sector. There are different styles, different flavors of coaches too, and different approaches that people take. What's your
Yeah.
particular approach, Christian, and how is that something?
Flavor.
What's your, I didn't want to say that, but yes. What's your color of coaching? Let's go.
What's my color of coaching? I like that. My favorite thing in coaching is to work with people, not just on what they're doing, what they want to do, but on who they're being. And I think that this one's sometimes hard to explain in words, but I think we all recognize there's moments in life when we're at our best. And usually when we're at our best, we feel clear, we feel more sort of courageous or more confident. We feel more compassion towards ourselves and other people. We're more curious,
Yeah.
less sort of afraid of things. We just get curious about them. We're more creative, etc. So you can kind of, and for each person, their own version of that or their own color of that, to use your word, is a bit different, because they're a unique human. So that's what I love doing most in coaching, is working with people to be at their best. Because as opposed to like, I'll try and make up an example here. Like if you're not at your best, maybe you're feeling like you're in that mind cloud. You're confused, you're a bit lost, you're struggling. Maybe your energy is low, you're feeling anxious about stuff. You're kind of like trying to distract yourself from things. We all know what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
But when we can shift into that best version of ourselves, when we can shift the way that we're being, generally we just solve our own stuff.
Mm.
Like sometimes literally like that. So I try and use that for people who are open to it. I use that as a tool because that unlocks so much other stuff. Just being able to recognize kind of what state we're in and then make a shift towards it's all part of us, but towards the sort of the best version of us.
Yeah. It makes
And
me think about like moments of flow. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
these moments where we do sort of really feel sort of alive and confident and
that,
energized and happy. You might be physically exhausted, but you want to do this thing again. There's something about those moments, if you can identify them, when you're sort of being fully alive.
yeah, exactly that. And I think we tend to think of them as just like random things that we stumble across every once in a while and then they disappear again. But actually that's something that we can cultivate to have more of. And if it's not 100% of the time, but to have more of that changes the whole experience of your life and your career
Yeah.
beyond your job title.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Yeah. So if you're focusing on supporting people through particular challenges, getting into or progressing through and thriving within conservation, and you're taking quite a holistic view to coaching as well, about sort of coaching the individual for them to thrive as a person, to then be more resilient and confident in them being in the world. What does a typical session look like? What would an hour with Kristi look like from a coachee's perspective? Do you have a typical session? Does it change? Yeah, it's a horrible question, but like bring it.
Kind of a fun question.
Yeah, what would it be like?
It's kind of a fun question because genuinely I don't know. And I never know because I might, like say I've been working with someone for a while and maybe I have an idea of an exercise that might be powerful for this person.
Hmm.
Maybe we've sort of talked about, it would be useful to like clarify your values as a decision-making tool or something like that. And so I come into the session like with this in mind, and the person shows up and they've just been rejected from a job or something has happened, something has shifted, or maybe they've been accepted to something. So like it can change in an instant.
Hmm.
And I guess that happens because as coaches, we're there in service of the other person. So we're going to be with that person in whatever state they show up. And we're going to support them in whatever way they need to move through it and move towards their goals. That wasn't me trying to avoid the question, but just genuinely, like it's going to be a surprise, as much a surprise to me or more as to the person on the other side. But if we're in kind of like a typical coaching session where we're not doing an exercise or a tool or something like that, usually the person being coached would bring a topic. So like something where they're getting stuck or something they can't seem to move forward or a shift they want to make, or they would bring a topic and then we would use that topic to guide the session. But in coaching, we're always sort of looking into like, how do we get there? So it's not just an open-ended conversation. Usually we're also looking at, well, what do you really want to get out of this call? How would we know if we got that? Like what would that mean for you in the wider scheme of your life and your goals? And so sometimes like the goal of the session changes in the middle because we realize together, there was actually something else at play here that's really like the thing that's going to make a difference for you. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. It doesn't sound too vague because it's so fluid.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. It really depends what the person's bringing into the session, and you're there in service of them.
Yeah.
Whatever that might be, whatever they want to get out of the session, then frames the session.
Totally.
And helps to focus it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the person being coached is really in the driver's seat
Yeah.
in terms of where they want to go and what they want to get out of it.
Yeah. So it's like best laid plans sometimes. You go with what needs to be dealt with and
Yeah.
discussed and focused on.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you know if coaching is right for someone? Are there like
Mm.
particular moments or types of people or mindsets or personalities or whatever it might be that would mean someone would really benefit from a coaching style process as opposed to something else?
Yeah. Well, I guess earlier we kind of shared some of those benefits that the International Coaching Federation lists, like signs you can benefit from coaching. So
Yep.
that's a
Yeah.
that's a it's a good guide already, like feeling stuck, navigating a transition, wanting more confidence, seeking more balance, etc. So I think those things are all amazing signs that coaching could support.
Yeah.
Uh, but on top of that, I think being open, just being open to the process, because coaching conversations are the kinds of conversations we don't have anywhere else in our life.
Hmm.
Uh, and it takes a little bit of openness and courage to have them.
Hmm.
So I think it's just important to be willing, be open and be willing to get a little bit outside of your comfort zone,
Hmm.
because that's kind of where the magic happens.
Yeah.
I would say also like something about readiness. And sometimes that shows up. Like we know we want something, but our current situation is okay, So we maybe like we're not pushed towards it enough. But there's usually a moment. I tend to think of this moment like where you're standing on the edge of the cliff, like thinking about taking a step into the unknown.
Yeah.
There's a moment where we know like we've got to do the thing. We've got to take the step or make a change. So just being ready to make a shift or change in your career or life is important.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, I guess being open to finding your own answers. If you're someone who's just purely looking for advice or for someone to tell you what to do, coaching isn't the tool for that.
Hmm.
That's a consultant. That's a different person. And we do some of that too. We
Hmm.
we advise people on their applications and job search and all sorts of stuff. But it's just it's a different approach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did I
Yeah.
miss anything? Would you add anything to that, Nick?
No, but I think I was just reflecting as you were saying, I think someone who perhaps has been stuck for some time or perhaps tried things and they've not worked, tried fixing something
Yeah.
themselves, tried, I don't know, whatever it might be, lots of different approaches, but actually they just feel stuck and they don't know how to move forwards.
Yeah.
I th-
Yeah.
that's a good point, I think, to go, you know what, I need to work with someone here who can help me push through this blockage, whatever it might be, and move forwards with that confidence that I'm looking for. Yeah, so
Definitely.
something about, yeah, just tried everything and it's not working. Yeah. I need
Mhm.
support from someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I thought too, if you have a hunch that there might be more, I don't know how else to say that other than, yeah, if you feel like there might be more than what you're currently doing or experiencing.
And that can go in 1,000 directions and
Yeah.
as deep as you want. Yeah.
um, but yeah, I think that's true. Like, and it's interesting too, because sorry, can I go on a slight tangent here? What
Please.
you said about feeling stuck. It's super interesting to me, and I do this as well. I've done this a lot in the past. Like when we feel stuck, we know we're stuck. We're frustrated being stuck. We know something has to change. But sometimes we also resist getting support. And we don't always look at like, what is the cost of not getting support? Like, what's the cost of staying stuck for another month or year or 3 years feeling this way?
Mm,
Um, and I know like when I sort of made decisions, like when I, wanted to train as a coach, I was first interested in it years before I did it.
mm,
It took me a long time to get there. So there is something for like, why not get unstuck sooner?
yeah.
Um,
And what could that enable? Yeah.
Yeah. And then what would be possible if you did that?
Nice. Well, as we sort of start to sort of, I guess, wrap things up, you know what? On a normal podcast, I would ask people some kind of more open questions, and I think I might do that just for fun.
Okay.
Before we do, though, I want to ask one question about coaching as a sort of wrap up. As like, and you touched on it there as well before about some people want to come, they have questions to answer. Some people have an application or an interview. Like, can you just paint a bit of a picture? Like, how does the coaching that we offer, that you lead, how does that sit alongside some of the other support
Mm.
that you offer through Conservation Careers? So we have applications and interviews. So if
Yeah.
if you put an application in and you want it checked, we can get it checked through us. If you've got an interview and you want to do a practice or rehearsal interview, we can help you with that too. And we also have
Yeah.
training programs too, like our Kickstarter, which enables people to create a career plan with confidence, move forward, and so forth. How does it all fit together? How does coaching layer in or sit alongside all that?
Yeah. I like this question because I think people who come to us are looking for both. Like they're kind of looking for the consulting
Yeah.
and the coaching. So yeah, usually like I'm having people work through a more practical process or a resource. Like let's say this is a person who's starting out in conservation.
Yep.
And they're at the beginning of their career, or let's say this is a person who is switching into conservation from another sector.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of information, about the conservation sector that they don't have and kind of need as part of deciding their next steps. So usually we'll have people work through our conservation career Kickstarter course, which you can do online. It's got lots of great, amazing self-reflection in it, but it's also got lots of sort of more practical information
Mm-hmm.
about the conservation sector and sort of some key steps to take and some key exercises to do when setting up your career that people can go and do on their own. We don't necessarily need to do that stuff in a coaching session. People can work through that. And then in the coaching, we can work on whatever else is going to move people forward more powerfully, and maybe it could be a million things, but maybe that's the confidence piece,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it's a lot of something that I've noticed that most of us struggle with is just reaching out to other people for support and connections, or the dreaded networking word, that's scary for most of us. So yeah, we kind of pair them alongside one another, really. But I think always the question I'm asking as a coach is what's gonna help move this person forward towards what they want.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's coaching.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's something practical. Sometimes it's actually both. Like I've worked with people on their applications where we did like a practical application review and we got it out and we looked at it together and we improved it. But before doing that, we actually had to shift how the person was seeing themselves because they were changing their identity in their career from one thing to another thing. So sometimes it's both at once.
Yeah.
Did that answer the question?
It does, yeah. It's like
Okay.
what's in service of the person.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's ask some more broad questions then, some more podcasty questions.
Okay.
Which I don't think I've asked you before, so that'll be fun. The first one would be, and you're a well-traveled lady. I mean, Kristi, you've lived in God knows how many countries and regions and places and seen all sorts of things. If we could take you to one place on the planet and you could see any species you like, where would you go and what would you hope to see when you got there?
Oh my goodness. I'm torn between two things and they're like literally polar opposites of one another. Can I give two?
Yeah, I've got, yeah.
Okay. One is going to see snow leopards, which quite honestly, I would freeze. So it's probably not realistic. But there's something they're so majestic and so threatened. And so, yeah, there's something about them that I've always felt drawn to. And the other is like the deep Amazon, like where you're having to travel 5 days to get in. And there's hardly anyone else in there to see anacondas.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Very extreme, right?
Yeah. Very extreme, but both remote, both very isolated,
Yeah.
both really charismatic species. Yeah, that are
Yeah.
not seen very often. Anacondas probably more frequently than snow leopard, but yeah,
Yeah. Well,
amazing.
maybe less so now, but yeah. Yeah. And it's not that I wouldn't be interested in the rest of those ecosystems. Like not seeing those things would be okay too,
Yeah,
just get them there. And seeing the rest of like the Amazon is incredible. It's wild and the energy of it is incredible. But yeah, I don't know, something about that, like really, really remote, kind of mysterious
yeah,
feels to me.
yeah. I love it. As a movement, as a sector, like conservation, we're working so hard to try and conserve nature, biodiversity, whatever you want to call it. And yes, we're doing some great work, but largely speaking, wildlife is in decline globally. You know, we see some really alarming reports regularly. Without going into detail on that, what do you think we as a sector need to do more of or be better at to really turn the tide and to help restore nature and to bring it back wholesale across the globe?
I feel like you have the rights to edit out my response to this after, but I think I'm going to use a word here that's a bit of an unusual word for me and certainly for us to use, which I think that conservation on some level is a spiritual challenge. By that, I don't mean anything specific with the word spiritual, but I mean like we've lost our connection with nature and with each other and the way that we relate to one another as humans and the way we relate as a wider community and the way we relate to the planet we're a part of.
Yeah,
And so I think without shifting that, without making people who are outside of conservation reconnect with that, there's only so much we can say and do to try and convince people. Like people have to feel that. They have to feel what's missing.
yeah,
We get it as conservationists. Because especially when I coach people, this tends to come up, like we're missing a sense of belonging. We're missing a sense of meaning. We're missing a sense of community and connection, collaboration and connection with nature, obviously. So we get it. We kind of see what maybe a lot of other people out there in the societies we live in aren't seeing or aren't realizing. So I think we
yeah,
have a job to, not a job to, I think we have an opportunity to show that to more people
yeah,
because it has to mean something for us to change.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how can we connect more people to nature? How can we help to convert the unconverted? We're very good at preaching to the choir,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
we all have so much in common straight away because we want to make a difference. But it's about growing the movement and finding and supporting more people to care about nature. Have you got any thoughts
Yeah.
how that could happen more at scale?
No doubt I'm not the first person to say this, but I think like when you can get people engaged young, I
Uh-huh.
think the best thing we can do. And I notice that too because I travel. So I'm Canadian, but I've lived in lots of different places. And each country I've lived in, we have a different relationship with nature.
Mm,
And I was fortunate to grow up in a place where I got out in nature like since I was a toddler.
mm,
And so it's always been a part of my life. But in some places people don't have access or it's just not so common. Or nature is even a place where it's dangerous to go. So I think finding ways to get more kids and young people out into nature. But I also I really believe in the power of individual people.
mm,
Like we at Conservation Careers support individuals. We're kind of empowering the conservationists to go have an impact in their
yeah,
lives.
yeah,
But the impact each of those people have it spreads outwards, right? And
yeah,
to touch potentially hundreds or thousands of other people. But I think, and maybe that's specifically because of the type of work I do. I think when you're able to have an impact as an individual that then expands outwards, I do think that's really powerful.
yeah. And that's why we do what we do, actually. We're
Yeah.
catalysts, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
Either out there in the field or in the lab or wherever it might be, making our individual change, but we can help countless others. And that's why I do what I do anyway. Yeah, absolutely. How do you feel about the future? Are you hopeful for the future of nature and this world? Are you fearful? Are you optimistic? Like, where are you at in terms of, looking forwards and thinking about where we're going?
I think as a person, I generally land on being more positive and optimistic than sort of pessimistic. And I think that extends to how I feel about the future of the world. I think when, if I choose to feel pessimistic, I'm basically taking away my drive to change or the opportunity to change things
Yeah.
and improve
Yeah.
things. So I think that having that outlook, whatever you want to call it, hope, optimism, positivity, possibility, like I think that's essential because without that, we don't take action.
Yeah.
And when we take action, things change. So yeah, I am, it's not to say that I don't recognize and get frustrated by the massive challenges we're up against, but I think it's possible for us to shift things.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And I love that you would use the word choice there as well. You choose to be optimistic. Like it's a
Yeah.
decision that you take. Yeah. Like a conscious decision too. Yeah. And the power of that. Yeah. Oh, Kristi, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you
Wow.
for coming on the podcast.
It's
Yeah.
been delightful. I
It,
actually forgot at one point that we were recording a podcast.
this isn't a regular meeting. If people want to find out more about coaching at Conservation Careers and working with you specifically, like where should they go? Where should we send them?
Yeah. We a coaching page where we talk about a little bit about one-on-one coaching and our sort of career clarity coaching program. So I haven't actually put the link just here, but I can find it if they need to put it in. But it's our website, support, and then coaching. And that's got a little bit of info about what coaching is and about me and kind of the type of program we can offer. But people are, I also encourage people just to, if they're interested, go onto that page and either fill out the short form, share a bit about where they're at and what they're looking for, or just reach out. Yeah. And we can explore whether coaching's a fit for them to make their next move.
Perfect. Yeah. And we'll drop the links obviously in the show notes where people are listening, watching, reading, wherever that might be. Yeah. Kristi, thanks again. It's been so nice
Oh,
kind of sharing your story and connecting like this and talking to the world.
thanks, Nick. This has been so much fun. And I've really enjoyed it. And I'm really happy and proud that we offer coaching at CC. Yeah. And that we're doing this work to support conservationists to go out and be who they are and do what they do in the world.
Yeah. There's no more important profession right now. Yeah. Once again, thanks, Kristi.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. If you did, then please do hit the subscribe button to get notified of new episodes as they drop. And also, please give us a rating or a review because it really helps us to get in front of more people. And we really enjoy reading them all. As you'll have heard, our podcasts are now recorded in front of a live audience who sit in and listen to the chat. And then after the mics are turned off, they get a chance to talk to the host, to share their thoughts, and also to ask questions. It's a really great format. If you'd like to be in the audience, all you need to do is join the Conservation Careers Academy. Now, in the Conservation Careers Academy, you'll get full access to the world's biggest conservation job board, listing over 15,000 jobs, volunteer and internships across the globe each year. You'll also enjoy access to our amazing CC Pro private members community with regular events, networking and support. Plus, you'll get full access to our growing library of career boosting resources, guides and templates. And best of all, it only costs a few dollars, euros or pounds per month to join the Academy. Now, to find out more, please visit conservation-careers.com/academy or simply click the join button at the top of our website. See you on the inside.